what's going on with you and Dana? You guys were cool.
Just because I wanted to start a little competition, he gets all, oh, let me scream louder. When a guy slaps his wife in public, when his mom writes a book about him saying that he's a douche, that's all I have to say.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. The guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is one of the most popular boxers of all time. He had a 16-year professional boxing career. He won 10 world titles. He's the first boxer in history to win titles in 6 different weight classes. He won the Olympic gold medal in 1992. He's a Grammy-nominated singer. He once accumulated the largest pay-per-view draw ever. He generated over $700 million in pay-per-view buys. An icon, a legend, a champion, an international boxing Hall of Famer, an accomplished entrepreneur. He's the first American of Mexican descent to own a national boxing promotional company. He founded the highly successful Golden Boy promotion. He has a statue in front of Staples, now it's Crip.com Arena. He's from East Los Angeles. Here he is, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Thank you for
having me. How was that intro?
Man, that was great. That was great. That was amazing. I think you have a future career announcing me everywhere I go now. So,
when you hear what you've been able to accomplish, and people, because everywhere you go, everybody knows who you are. You're world renowned. Do you look back and like, damn, I really did all that? The first to win titles in 6 different weight classes.
Right. I literally do have to remind myself quite a bit, actually. I don't think about it. I'm the type of person that I just live my life.
Okay.
You know, I have a job at hand in front of me. I focus on that. I focus on, my beautiful partner. I focus on myself, my business. It's like, I don't think about like what I accomplished.
Right.
But when I do talk about it, when you did introduce me, I was like, oh, snap, man, damn, I did accomplish quite a few things.
Right, because when you hear them talk about all these other boxers, obviously we're going to talk about Floyd, but you hear about Ray Leonard, you hear about Marvin Hagler, rest his soul, you hear about a lot, Manny Pacquiao, 8th division champ, if I'm not mistaken.
The only.
When you hear and people start talking about it, they're like, hold on, wait a minute now. Did y'all forget about the Golden Boy? Do y'all remember what I've done?
I don't really tell myself that, or I really don't focus on what everybody else is talking about or who they're talking about.
Okay.
Like, I accomplished.
You've done it.
Quite a few things. I'm proud of it. I realize it. I recognize it, and so be it.
Right.
You know, now I'm just me. Now I'm just focused on, just living the life that I should be living and deserve to be living. Just being happy and doing some good business. Promoting the right fights, building fighters. It's sometimes I do have to pinch myself a bit and remind myself of what I accomplished. It's pretty cool.
Well, it wouldn't be Club Shay Shay if we didn't ask you to rank some of these fighters. So where would we put Oscar De La Hoya if we said Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., Canelo Álvarez? Who else would belong in that in your generation? I mentioned Canelo. Okay.
Trinidad,
Tito.
Pernell Whitaker.
Sweet Pea.
Yeah, we had all of them. We had all the greats. I would rank myself second to last.
Really?
Yeah, in front of Canelo.
Yeah. Why would you put Canelo last?
Because he's not better than any other fighter you just mentioned.
Right.
And he's certainly not better than me.
Right. But here's the thing, though. You look at what he's done. 160, 168, light, heavy. What is he, 4 division? He's a 4 division?
3 division.
3 division? So what, 60, 68, 70, 75?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you got Floyd. Floyd goes without saying. You got Manny Pacquiao, who's a 8 division champ.
Sure,
you got Bernard Hopkins, 160, 168, 175.
Right.
Roy. Roy was untouchable for about a decade.
Amazing.
Roy was untouchable.
Amazing.
So you like, okay, rank, I tell you, this is how we're going to do it. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr. Rank those guys.
Well, I fought 3 of those guys that you just mentioned, and they all beat me. So the key here is that I fought them, and I was willing to fight them, and I fought them in order to make history, right? Which fighters don't do
today
nowadays. No, they just don't. They wait till you get older. I was waiting for myself to get older to fight those guys in their prime.
Right.
So except for Bernard Hopkins, that was 48 years old when I fought him, but he's a machine, you know, that.
But you had moved up. You moved to 160 to fight
160 and fight him to make history. That's what it's all about. So I think look, Floyd is a great fighter. Obviously, he's undefeated. Everybody can make an argument. Well, he's not the best. Yes, he is the best. Everybody has their opinion, and that's fine. That's okay. You look at their records, okay, well, maybe with this guy he lost, maybe it was controversial, maybe it was a close fight. Everybody has those on their records.
Right.
I have 3 losses that I can't debate. With Pacquiao because he stopped me.
Right.
With Hopkins because he stopped me. And probably who else? Shane Mosley, the first one.
Right.
Which was an epic fight at the Staples Center, now Crypto Arena. So those fights there, I cannot like, you know, debate with anybody that I lost. But the other fights, yeah, they're debatable. You know, you can make the argument, just like every other fighter that you just mentioned now on the list. Every fighter has their debatable losses and wins. Are they great? Yes. Are they the very, very best? Who knows? It's a debate.
Let me ask you this. I've heard you on several occasions said you feel that you beat Floyd in that fight.
Sure.
Obviously, that might have been one of the last fights that I've been to. I was at that fight.
Okay.
Why do you feel you won that fight?
You know, when you're a fighter inside the ring, when that final bell rings, you know it in your heart, in your gut, and physically, if you won or you lost. You just feel it. It's a sensation. And I just felt it.
Right.
You know, whether I was wrong or whether I'm right, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I fought against the very best in Floyd Mayweather, younger, in his prime, just, you know, undefeated. And I was over the hill, tons of injuries. So I was pretty proud with what I accomplished that night. So maybe I was convincing myself that I won, but I did feel it physically and mentally that I did enough to, because I was the champion in that fight.
Right.
So remember,
and normally you have to beat the champion to take his title.
To take his title. So you take all those variables, and I felt that, you know, okay, maybe let me convince myself that I won that fight. Right.
Do you feel, because it looked like to me you started out flurry, like the first 5 or 6 rounds, it was you. And then all of a sudden you started to tire, he started to come on. Did you feel that you have done enough early, and because he didn't stop you, he didn't put you down, that you had enough points up until that?
Yeah, it's a 12-round fight.
Correct.
And you know, as an elite fighter, you're always keeping track of what you're doing every second, every minute. Okay, I have this round in the bag. I have this one. Wait, that's maybe 6 or 7. Let me cruise. Let me, if I get injuries just the way I did during the fight, because I had torn rotator cuffs.
Oh, you tore your rotator cuff in that fight?
2 of them. No,
Going into the fight?
Going into the fight.
Okay.
But, you know, you start thinking, okay, wait, if I just cruise here and land a few punches, I got the first fight, the first half won already. So maybe if I just win one more round, I can win the fight 7-5. Right. Maybe a draw. So you start thinking that, right? And that can be a mistake or it can be a plus. And obviously that night for me, it was a big mistake. I should have just went out there and just give it my all.
Down on your shield.
Yeah.
The days are warmer, the walks are longer, and one easy way to help your dog shine this season is with fresh, healthy food from Farmer's Dog. Farmer's Dogs makes fresh, real food and delivers it right to your door. Recipes are developed by vet nutritionists, made from real meat and veggies, and proportioned just for your dog, making it easy to say goodbye to burnt brown balls. Feed your dog real food with real benefits. My Pomeranian Teddy loved the stuff, and his coat has never looked better. It's smart, healthy pet food you can feel good about feeding your pup. And it's the best option for your dog of all life stages because it's not kibble, it's not canned goo, it's real healthy food. And it doesn't matter if your dog is young or old, it's always the right time to begin investing in their health. That means more happy, healthy, full years together. Get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food from farmersdog.com/Shay Shay. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to farmersdog.com/Shay Shay to get 50% off. That's farmersdog.com/Shay Shay. What makes Floyd so unique? Because he fought, he's fought Pacquiao, he fought you, he fought Gotti, he fought Corrales, he fought Ricky Hatton. He's fought so many, and all these guys, a lot of these guys had titles at the time or were former world champions like yourself. What makes him so unique?
His pedigree. Look, I'm good friends with his father. The best trainer I've ever had.
Wow.
By far. He is, well, except for the professor who trained me for the Chavez fight when I beat Chavez in 1996. But Floyd Sr. is the best trainer I've ever had. He's a teacher. And that's what Floyd Jr. grew up with. He grew up with a teacher who disciplined him to be the very, very best. And I love his patience. I love the fact that he's a hard hitter and he has a chin. See, people discredit him for not having a chin. He has a chin and he has a big heart. So I think that what makes him unique is obviously his boxing ability, but his ring generalship is what does it for me. He knows how to pick his spots. He knows how to get you tired without even throwing punches. It's crazy. I mean, I can figure this out, but that's who Floyd is, and that's what made him great.
But people say he don't have any knockouts. He doesn't have power.
Oh, he has power. He has power. He has power. I mean, he didn't hurt me, but he has power. He has a lot of power. I have a good chin.
Yeah.
Pacquiao didn't hurt me.
Right.
Bernard didn't hurt me. I mean, he caught me with that body shot.
Right.
I have a good chin, but Floyd does have power.
But if you look at Floyd at the lighter weight class, he was stopping people.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until he got to 147, 154 that, and then his hands.
Right.
He had to be careful with his hands because the last thing you want to do is throw a shot, break a hand, and then all of a sudden you got to fight the next 10, 11 rounds with a broken hand.
Well, I think what happened with Floyd is, and this is where he played it smart. You know, you have to give credit where credit is due. Floyd, after he beat me, if you notice, he became Money Mayweather.
Yes.
Well, he became a businessman.
Yes.
So then now, okay, let me have, my career, the longevity of my career. I'm going to extend it as long as possible. I'm not going to get hit. I'm going to throw punches and pick and choose so my career can last longer and make more money.
Right.
Very smart.
Had Floyd been around in the 80s and he had to fight Hagler, he had to fight Leonard, he had to fight Hearns, he had to fight Barkley, or just say some of those guys. Duran. How would he have fared with those? Because all those guys, guys had dynamite. Sugar Ray was a lot harder puncher than people give him credit for.
Oh yeah.
And he had a heart of a lion. How would Floyd would have fared? Now, I'm not saying he'd probably go up to, because Floyd is a small man. And that's what makes it, he was so great, because he's not having to drop 20, 30 pounds to make 147.
Exactly.
He's probably walking around at 150 his entire life.
Oh yeah. He's a professional.
Yes.
He knows how to stay lean.
Yes.
And stay active and always in the gym, and fighters and kids who want to become champions should emulate exactly what Floyd did inside the ring, inside the gym. And you asked me the question about the 80s and the four kings, right?
Yes.
Duran and Hearns and Hagler and
Leonard.
It would have been quite interesting. I would have probably called it the five kings. He's that worthy of fighting those guys and making great fights. Everybody had their own unique style.
Yes.
Duran was a beast.
Yes.
Hagler was a beast.
Yes.
Sugar Ray Leonard was a beast. I mean, Hearns. And either one had their own, attributes, whether it was a right hand from Hearns, punches and bunches from Duran, who would just eat you alive, and Sugar Ray Leonard just had it all.
Right.
So I don't know. It's hard to say. whether he would have won or lost, but I think being in the mix would have made it just, I mean, that much more exciting.
Because back then, as you said, after he fought you, he became more of a businessman. But back then, there was you had to fight. You know, if you go back and look at the 70s and 80s with the heavyweight, Norton had to fight Ali. Ali had to fight Frazier.
Sure.
Frazier had to fight Foreman. Foreman had to fight so forth, so forth and so on.
Yes.
And so there was no situation, there was no business, and he came along at the great time.
Right.
Not to discredit him, because he's transcendently great.
Sure.
But in that era, there was no businessman like Floyd turned out to be during that era, so he'd have had to fight.
Well, look, what people don't understand and know, or maybe forget, I promoted Floyd's 16 fights roughly when we were building him. Mm-hmm. You know, he was under Golden Boy Promotions, and obviously I own Golden Boy Promotions.
Right. Was that after Top Rank?
That was right after Top Rank.
Okay.
And so we got him the Ricky Hand fight. We positioned him to fight, you know, Juan Manuel Marquez, Canelo, who actually I told Canelo, do not fight Floyd because you're too young. You have no experience.
Right.
Well,
but he's a much bigger man.
He is, but he's 21 years old, flexing his muscles like, I can take on Floyd. I'm the very best. Guess what? You got schooled. You got schooled.
Pitched the shutout.
Exactly. I mean, it wasn't even close. So my point is, Floyd played his cards right. If there was ever a winner in Las Vegas, it's Floyd.
It's Floyd. Let me ask you a question. Why didn't you guys have a rematch, you and Floyd?
Why didn't we have a rematch? Well, this is something that the world doesn't know, and I'm going to actually say it now. We had a rematch for a year contractually. Guess what Floyd did? He retired for a year and 1 day. Let the contract expire, and I was asked out. That's it.
Had you had the rematch, do you felt you could have avenged what happened earlier?
No. My body was breaking down. My body was over it. That was the final. Yeah, that was the last straw. I felt it in the 7th, 8th round, where because my jab is my weapon.
Right.
I throw my jab and nobody can beat me.
Right.
And I just couldn't throw it. And so it was over. My body was breaking down. I fought Pacquiao, and I was a dead man walking. I walked inside the ring, and my legs were shaking, and I was like, please just knock me out. Just stop me right here.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Oscar, if you know your body is breaking down, you know you're not the fighter that you once were, why take a fight with Pacquiao when you know he's a dangerous man?
Because I dared to be great. I always dared to be great.
You had already had that, Oscar.
I want some more.
You and Floyd fought on, if I'm not mistaken, it was Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
When you saw him come out there with his Mexican gear on, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, wait, the hat's on backwards. At least put it on right. You know? No, it was appropriate. I was just thinking at that time, man, I want to knock his ass out.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because I'm a competitor. Right. But then you think, because I'm a businessman too, I started Golden Boy Promotions way before I even finished fighting.
Correct.
So I was already thinking, wow, what a genius. That's a great marketing tool there. And sure enough, Floyd was built to be the villain. Floyd was built with his opponents that we put in front of him, you know, from Miguel Cotto to everybody. He was the villain. And in a movie, you need the hero and a villain. And Floyd was the perfect villain. Mm-hmm. You know, people love to hate him. And guess what? He made a whole career about it, and he's one of the greatest.
Do you think people tune in to watch greatness or tune in to watch him lose?
A lot of people tuned in to watch him lose, but a lot of people also tuned in to watch greatness. I know the purist like yourself, people that's been around the boxing game, the fight game for an extended period of time, they understand who he is. Sure.
But do you think the casual, the lay person realize how great he is?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's what happens is that we don't realize how wonderful of a person that individual is, or what great of an athlete that person is, until they're maybe past, or until they're old. You know, we don't realize, we don't tend to do the research, you know, and study the careers and label him as a great one, or, you know, it's just, yeah, it's till the end, obviously. And I think that Floyd Mayweather is just a great fighter. He's one of the best.
I think the thing that what makes him so unique is that he didn't hang on too long. A lot of the great fighters, they hang on too long. Sure. They fight these young lions, and then it somehow one or two losses diminish the greatness that we saw for over a decade. Sure. And Floyd never succumbed to that.
Right, which is smart, which is great. I mean, he didn't get hit much in his career, in the amateurs, in the pros. And he did it smart. He played it smart. That's what it's all about. The business is great, you know, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Right.
My cup of tea was, you fight everybody in their prime, in their peak. You fight against the best, and guess what? The chances of losing are pretty great, because you're fighting other great fighters.
Right.
And that was my position. That was my mentality going into every single fight I signed for. You know, with Floyd, you can make the argument, well, okay, this guy he should have fought him 2 years prior. He should have fought him earlier. Maybe he caught him when he was older. You can make the argument, but at the end of the day, when you watch the skills inside the ring, it's just different. Yeah, it's undeniable.
Because you had Floyd Sr. was your trainer up until you got ready to fight Floyd, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Sure.
Had you had Sr. in your corner fighting Junior, do you think you win that fight?
Knock him out. I'll knock him out. I would knock him out.
Really?
Absolutely. If I was 1 year younger and had Sr. in my corner, I would knock him out. Really.
Sr. was that good of a trainer. You have that much confidence in your ability. You would have done something that no man, I've only seen Floyd take really maybe a handful of solid punches.
Sure.
And you feel you were going to be able to put together a package.
Oh, yeah.
To knock Floyd out.
Absolutely. And you know what the key was? And the key is to that style is the jab. Opens up all the doors. When my jab failed me, it was over. I knew it. In my heart, in my head, I knew it was over. Floyd was coming after me because he closes the show. He knows how to reserve his energies and his gas tank to close the show at the end. And I'll tell you a story that nobody knows. We were negotiating to fight Floyd again after the contract expired. And I started negotiating with Floyd's father to train me to beat his son. He wanted too much money. And I just said, you know what? Aside from the money, okay, I understand that. It's a lot of money that I have to pay you, so I'm going to pass. But aside from that, morally, I just thought it was wrong. Right. You know, his father being in his corner, because I think at the time they were having a little, little issue, you know, because it happens in every family.
Yes.
It happens in every family. So I said, you know what? No, I can't do this. I cannot do this to a family who has been in the business for a very long time. I don't know how many generations.
His uncle fought Roger.
His uncle Roger. I think his other uncle Jeff, who I fought. So yeah, boxing runs in their blood, and so I just couldn't do that to them, and we didn't make the fight.
Pacquiao, Mayweather. What would have been different had they fought, let's just say 5 years earlier? Because everybody believed they wanted that fight. We had been clamoring for that fight for 5-10 years. Had they fought 5 years earlier, is the outcome any different?
Let's just say it would have probably been a controversial decision.
Okay.
You know, like a closer fight. But I still think that Floyd probably would have pulled it off. I really do think so. Pacquiao at the time, when he was coming up, when I fought him, he was literally a Pac-Man.
Right.
He was just chomping at me like there's no tomorrow.
Right.
He wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop throwing punches. That Pacquiao probably gives Mayweather a better fight.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if he wins, but he gives him a better fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you feel this fight happened a couple of years?
A little too late. You know, you want to see a back and forth, and you want to see evenly matched on paper. When we saw it live, yeah, I mean, as a fighter myself, I know exactly what's going on with the fighters, mentally and physically. And Pacquiao wasn't the same. And you can make the argument for Floyd as well.
Right.
At their peak, yeah, I still think that Floyd would have won the fight.
When you fought Pacquiao, I think they stopped the fight.
Yeah.
In the 8th round.
I didn't come out for the 9th.
Yeah, you didn't come out. You're right. You didn't come out. That had to be because Mexican fighters, you guys are prideful.
Yeah.
You guys are down that shield. And you're that, when we talk about Mexican fighters, we know they're tough.
Sure.
We know they're fearless, and they don't fear any. They'll walk through hell for a fight if they need to.
Right.
For you to not get up off that stool and take that bell in the night, what was going through your mind at that time, Oscar?
Well, what happened in that fight, I was a zombie. I was drained. I think I had fought Bernard Hopkins at 160.
60.
And then I said, let me dare to be great again and fight this young kid who they're talking about at 147. I literally weighed in 144 for that fight. And I was a skeleton. It was too much. So I knew in my head that it was over for me. The first round happened. He punched me. I couldn't throw back. My instincts weren't there. My fast twitch muscles weren't there. And every single round, if you watch my documentary that came out on HBO called The Golden Boy, it explains to you what I was thinking, what I was feeling. I literally wanted to die in that ring. In the 8th round, everybody was going to stop it, okay? Or the 7th round. One of those rounds, everybody wanted to stop it, including the referee, the trainer. And I said, no, I want one more. Because in my head, I was thinking, if he punches me, maybe I won't wake up,
Were there some other things going on that you wanted to die in the ring?
Of course. I wanted my whole life to die. The whole life that I was living at the time, having to go through rehabs, having to go through, all this fame and money and women and this and that. It was just overwhelming. And now I can't perform. Now I don't have the last thing that I love, that I worked so hard for. I don't have it anymore.
Right.
So just end it here in the middle of the ring. Just punch me so I can die.
Right. Wow. So did you underestimate Manny? Did you understand what he was? I think he moved up from 106 to 112 and had blown through everybody. Sure. 22, 20, 30, 35, 40, 47.
Yeah.
So you didn't underestimate him. You knew what he got Pac-Man that name for. He got that name for a reason.
Oh yeah, I underestimated him, but it didn't matter. Even if I was a dead man walking. I couldn't.
Why not
perform.
take the fight at 54?
I don't think they would have done it because he was like you said, he was coming up in weight. It was probably too much at the time. But even at 54, he probably still would have beat me. No shame in my game.
Shane Mosley. So you fought Shane Mosley. Yeah. Like you said, there's one thing they can't say about you. I mean, people might say a lot of different things about you, but they can't say that you ducked anybody.
No.
You fought Shane?
No, I fought Shane when nobody wanted to fight Shane.
No. That was a hell of a fight.
It was.
What made Shane unique?
Well, I've known Shane since we were kids. And, him beating everybody, labeled as like Sugar Ray Robinson. Not Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Because he had dynamite.
He was amazing. And he can punch.
Yes.
But we grew up together, and I think we fought twice. I think he beat me twice, right? Or it was 1-1. So I knew what I was up against. I knew why people didn't want to fight him.
Right.
So I said, you know what? Why not? Come on, let's go. Let's dare to be great again. So Staples Center, it was the first fight ever. We opened it up for the Staples Center.
You from East LA, he's from Pomona.
Yeah, he's from Pomona.
Two Cali kids.
Exactly. I mean, it was, Shannon, it was like the Oscars.
Wow.
It was crazy. And I mean, I was starstruck just watching everybody in between rounds, like who's there. It was amazing. It was incredible. And I'm just happy that it was a great fight. It was an amazing fight. Yeah, I'm sad that I lost, but it was a great fight.
In 1997, at the age of 24, you had 5 title fights in 1 year.
Yeah.
You beat Miguel Gonzalez,
yeah.
Sweet Pea,
Yeah.
Camacho,
Yeah.
Wilfred Rivera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will we ever see a fighter fight 5 fights in 1 year again? Forget.
Yeah.
I ain't saying no, we're not gonna see title fights.
Sure.
But will we see a boxer fight 5 times in one season?
At the elite, level?
Yeah.
At the elite level?
Yes.
No, we won't see it. We won't see it. It's one thing about boxing that's taken place over the years, and maybe it's the Floyd effect, who knows? They now think business first.
Okay.
You know, and that's a big problem. It's a big problem. Fights are not being made because everybody wants to get, you know, the big chunk of the pie.
Chunk.
Of course. So there's not enough money to go around. So guess what? Let me fight this guy who is going to cost me pennies on the dollar instead of fighting Benavidez, you know, who equally should share the purse with Canelo.
Or maybe 60-40. Give him 60-40, but you can't give him 80-20.
70-30. You can't give him 10-20. I mean, come on, it's not fair.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to happen ever again. I wish it would, but it's just hard to make those fights happen because of the business.
So, when you're a promoter and you're trying to put fights together, when you go to your fighter, you're like, okay, this is a fight that I think we can make happen.
Yeah.
I think the split should probably be 55-45, 60-40. What do you think about that? You take it to the guy,
sure.
and you know, y'all bounce ideas off of each other. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the opponent. It depends on, you know, how long he's been champion. Is he undefeated?
Right.
Does he have a fan base? See, that's important. A lot of fighters today think that they're superstars because they have a world title, but guess what? They can't sell a seat, which is a big problem, you know?
Yeah.
Once we get the fees from television, we have to sell tickets, sponsors, this, that, pay-per-views. Well, guess what? Maybe because you don't sell, I'll give you a salary. Maybe I'll give you a flat fee.
Right.
And it's going to be the biggest purse of your life, but you are not quite ready to make those pay-per-view dollars, you know?
To a headline. So is that what, because I think you're right, because I think a lot of guys are like, they're more concerned with being undefeated than taking a big fight.
Yeah.
Because Oscar, all things being equal, I can't blame them. If I can fight fighter B,
sure,
and make $15 million, and I know I can beat him, or there's a 90% chance I can beat him, why would I fight fighter A for $20 million when it's 50-50?
Sure. Well, look, first of all, the problem is that fighters are thinking they're going to make $15 million.
I just threw it that number.
No,
yeah.
but that's a perfect example. Fighters have to realize their own worth, and they create their own worth. Yes, the promoter knows how to navigate your career and get you the right wins and position you to become a world champion. But it's up to you to sell yourself.
Right.
It's look at Floyd. Look at Ryan Garcia. Look at these fighters like Canelo who have skills, who fight hard, but at the same time they have that huge fan base because they're working it outside the ring.
Right. But the thing is, Oscar, people want to see knockouts. People don't want to see don't want to go to the cards.
Oh, yeah.
And too many guys keep going to the cards. And you might be 20-0, but your fights are boring. If you're not knocking people down, if you're not putting people out, people are not going to pay their hard-earned money on a pay-per-view or to go to a fight.
I'll give you a perfect example of a young fighter right now in that position. Shakur Stevenson. The greatest fighter I've ever seen. Beautiful style.
Yes.
Great technique. Has the punching power, has the chin, but he needs the confidence to fight. He has to believe in himself to put on a good show and sell seats. That's the problem he's having. He's not selling seats. He's a great fighter. He's demanding all this money, and fights are not being made.
But in order to be a great fighter and to put people out, you have to be willing to take a chance.
You have to.
Because if you throw a punch, you can't block and throw the punch.
Well,
so you subject yourself to something coming back. Yeah. Is he afraid of taking chance? Is he afraid of receiving something that's coming back when he throws?
Well, yeah. There's a saying. What is it? Scared for losing, or you know, it's true. I mean, look, fighting. There's a stigma in boxing, like that if you lose, you're It's over.
Right.
Your career's over.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It depends how you fight. You can be an undefeated fighter and not be a fighter, and not be an attraction, and not be a guy who everybody wants to see. It all depends on how you perform, and you're as good as your last fight in boxing. If you have a fight like, let's say, Jaime Munguia and Canelo, right? Jaime lost, okay. Well, his comeback fight, if he chooses the right opponent and he looks like $1 million and he knocks him out, well, guess what? He's back. He's probably even bigger than when he fought Canelo. So it's all strategy. It's all how you perform inside the ring.
You made a lot of money. So what was some of the first, like being from East LA, you grew up, how you grew up. When you got that big payday, what was the first thing Oscar bought?
Wow. Man, I was 19, 18. I came out of the Olympic Games in 1992. I bought a home for my parents, for my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, for my dad. I bought a home for my dad. And then let's see, wow. Yeah, that was the big thing I bought.
That was it.
Yeah, for my dad.
You didn't buy anything for yourself?
No, I'm not. I wasn't really a big spender. I'm not into cars. I'm not, it's like, I kind of think maybe that's why I kept all my money. So.
But you like to gamble. Used to.
Here and there.
Here and there. You don't gamble as much as.
No, I don't. I mean, I'll play within, if I don't feel good, then I'll stop and I won't play, and I'm not.
What's your game of choice?
I'll do baccarat and dice.
Right.
But I'll play maybe once every year, once every 5 months. You know, I don't, it's not my thing.
Right. I read that Jay-Z bet you $100,000 that Miguel Cotto would beat Canelo and sent you the money immediately after the loss.
So we're promoting Canelo at the time, Golden Boy, and he's promoting Cotto. And so I said, you know what? Why don't we place a bet here of $250,000? Okay, but it goes to charity.
Okay.
So Canelo wins, my charity wins the $250,000, and sure enough, he paid it on the spot. I think the next day, the check was in the bank. So no, look, Jay-Z loves boxing. He knows his boxing, but he's a guy who
you took advantage of
who pays his bets.
No,
I didn't.
Yeah,
it was a close fight. It was a close fight. Actually, a lot of people think Cotto beat him. But I had the insight. So.
What made you get into the promotion game?
When I started,
weren't you with Bob Arum?
I was with Bob Arum. I was kind of breaking away from Bob Arum. Yeah, our contract was expiring. I came out guns blazing saying, I want to help out the athletes. I want to be the promoter who is like looking out for the fighters.
Okay.
That was my main motive. That was why I started boxing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got into the fight game and you said, you know what, I want to help the boxer. I don't think they're getting a fair shake, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, I'm going to start my own thing. I'm going to be, because you started this, you're still fighting.
Yeah. I was fighting at the time. I was active. I started when I fought Fernando Vargas.
Okay.
And I remember being in the dressing room and I was beat up. I knocked him out in the 11th round, but I was just beat up. And I said to myself, you know what, I think it's almost time to retire. What am I going to do after boxing? What am I going to do? Yeah, I can drift off to the sunset and, go buy myself a little boat and live on the beach or whatever. But I knew that I was not going to be happy in the long run. So I said to myself, let me do something within the sport because I love boxing. There's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of fighters are saying, well, they need help, this and that. So let me start Golden Boy. And that's where it was born.
So how do you convince, because, okay, you got Top Rank. I think Floyd has a company. I don't know if he's still with Al Hyman or anything like that, so I don't know what's going on with that. Eddie Hearn, I think Eddie Hearn has a fight company. Sure. Is Don King still in the business? There are 4 or 5 big promotions. Yeah. So how does Oscar De La Hoya goes and sits in someone's home or his mom's home or his dad's home or have a conversation and says, Golden Boy is the right promotion company for you? Well,
first of all, there's Bob Arum. Don King, not really. He's there. I mean, both guys are like 95 years old. I don't know how Bob is doing it, but I want some of that stuff that he's taking. I really do.
Yeah.
Because you see him, he's happy promoting at 95. So you have about Eddie Hearn. So literally at PBC, which is Al Heyman. So there's like 4 of us out there. The difference with all 4, okay, that nobody can say, okay, I was a fighter. I laced up the gloves. I know what it feels like to take the punch. I know what it feels like to have to sell a fight, to go out there and promote. I know how it feels like to being taken advantage of because I'm a fighter. So I know all that. And plus, a huge advantage is I'm the only Hispanic fighter to ever start a national boxing promotional company. So if you take a look at all the Hispanic fighters that, you know, you identify with them, they look up to you, so it makes it easier for me to sign them and to guide them, you know.
I mean, not only do you speak their language, literally you speak their language figuratively because you are a fighter.
Yeah.
And you went through it. I mean, you had the great amateur background and so forth and so on. But when you look at boxing, people don't box by choice, it's necessity. And sometimes I feel it's easier to take advantage of someone that comes from a impoverished situation because you throw 100,000, 500,000, and then you sign the guy, and then you're gonna make money over fist. Did you experience some of that growing up when you were in the fight game, when promoters tried to take advantage of Oscar De La Hoya?
I experienced it right when I got back from the Olympic Games. I experienced it when somebody promised me $1 million, okay? I'm 18 years old. Here's $1 million to sign with me. You know how much I saw?
How much you get?
I saw like 50,000.
What?
About $50,000.
So where the other 950 go?
I have no idea. Taxes? I don't know.
Nah, hell nah.
Yeah, it was.
Even back then, the tax bracket wasn't no 90%, Oscar.
I learned the hard way. I did. I learned but that was the best. That was a blessing in disguise because I learned fast. I learned how to take care of my money. I learned who to look out for. Okay, why do I need a manager? Why do I need an advisor? Okay, I need a promoter because the promoter is going to guide my career and take me to the next level. I can't do what a promoter is doing for me.
Right.
Fighters need a promoter. So I said, okay, that's a percentage off my pie.
Right.
Okay. But everything else I can just pay on salary.
Right.
That's it. So I'm keeping all of my pie to myself.
Right.
So I learned the hard way, you know, fairly quick.
And because you need tax people, because you see a lot of boxers that run into tax problems. But let me ask you this. I was reading somewhere, it's like, I think I was reading that the guy was explaining like Mike Tyson and Don King. Like if you go to your promoter, Bob Merriman at the time, and you say, Bob, I need 20 tickets. Those are not gifts. You got to pay for those. That's going to come out your salary, right?
Oh, yeah. And whoever's participating in the fight, it's coming off their percentage as well. So, yeah, nothing's free.
Right. So oh, man, my promoter bought me this Rolls Royce. My promoter bought me this mean coat and this Rolex. And did fighters always know that even though they were getting these things, that was actually coming out of their pocket, or they thought they were just being gifted those things?
It's a couple of things. A lot of athletes, a lot of fighters, they just turn away. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to. I guess know that that's real. You know, they just want to shy away from it and let somebody else deal with it. You know, I think that it's the athlete's responsibility. You know, it's, for instance, Mike Tyson and Don King. Well, people keep saying, well, Don King ripped off Mike Tyson and this and that. Well, Mike Tyson made about $400-500 million. That's his money. What he does with that, it's not Don King's fault. Right. So, you have to, as an athlete, as a person, you have to look out for your best interests as well.
You mentioned earlier when Floyd he bought out of his contract with Top Rank. You had started your company, and for 16, 17 fights, you promoted Floyd.
I did promote Floyd, yeah. And he was, the time when he was making the, I think it was a Showtime contract, $30-40 million. Yeah, we promoted all those fights. Right. Great experience for us. It was, it put us on the map, obviously, and, we're now one of the top promoters in the world. So, look, boxing, the one thing that I'm not too keen on with boxing is that it became a business. It wasn't a business before. Yes, you're making money. I made a lot of money, but I treated boxing as you know, trying to be great, as a platform for me to be great, not a businessman.
I'm not a boxer, but can I look at it like this? They saw a lot of other great fighters in their career, great,
Sure.
but broke.
Yeah.
And so they said, if all things being equal, I would rather be less great and more wealthy as opposed to being great and broke. Can you?
I have to disagree because I've lived it.
Yeah.
I'm in these shoes, and it's, again, the responsibility of the fighter, of the athlete. And it's not just boxers. I mean, look, if I'm making $30 million and I'm spending like a madman, and I'm having all these revenues
Well, you actually
come
make
in.
15 because Uncle Sam got to get half.
Yeah,
so
right,
you didn't
exactly.
make 30,
right.
you made 15.
Of course. But if I'm spending, like I'm still making that type of money, guess what? I'm going to run out of money.
Right.
And that's the individual's fault.
Right.
Maybe I'm not paying taxes. Maybe I owe people money. Maybe I just want to live this lavish lifestyle so I can get the clicks. It's the individual's responsibility.
But you have to understand also, Oscar, you're dealing with guys that have very limited education.
Sure.
They come from very impoverished backgrounds. They're
Agreed.
trying to lift themselves up, lift their families up,
Sure.
and put them in a social economics
Yeah.
that, had it not been for boxing,
Sure.
they probably would have never been there.
Absolutely.
And so they're easy to take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get what you're saying, like, oh, it's still your responsibility.
Yeah.
But me, I couldn't take advantage of someone. Even if I had the opportunity, and I know they're like, man, I'm gonna rob this dude,
Sure,
Bryant, and he
sure.
not gonna know anything. That's just not in me. I'm not so sure. A lot of promoters had that same philosophy, though.
There's a lot of, and like I mentioned, the promoters I just mentioned have never laced up the gloves, so they don't understand.
Right.
They don't live it. I'm in camp with these fighters, training myself, knowing what I'm going to win, what I'm going to make, knowing what I'm going to lose, knowing what I'm going to spend. Like, I know all this. I don't know why I know this, but from an early age, it was just instinctual for me. I had to take care of my money. I had to ask questions. I had to surround myself with a good business partner. And that's the key. Getting yourself a person who you can trust. He's going to screw you over anyways. So make sure you trust him the few years you're making all your money.
Right.
He's going to try to screw you, so that's when you have to be smart and cut the tie.
Right.
But it's up to the individual. I emphasize that because whether you have an elementary education, a high school education, or you have you're a Harvard graduate, you have to ask questions. You have to be smart enough with all the money you're making, all the hard work you're putting into it. Don't tell me you're not just going to let everybody take advantage of you. No, you have to keep what's right. You have to keep what is yours.
Right.
You have to fight for it, and ask the questions and surround yourself with good people.
50. He tried to get into the promotion business. He and Floyd was supposed to try to do something, and then he got licensed in New York, correct?
No, we did business together, actually.
Okay.
Canelo fought Kirkland. 50 Cent had just signed Kirkland to a promotional contract.
Okay.
We had a fight together. Canelo knocked him out, and that was the end of 50's promotional career.
So he only had one fighter?
I believe it was one high-profile fighter.
Was that a situation where he tried to sign Floyd away from you? Was Floyd still?
I believe so. He was trying to do something with Floyd, and then Floyd just got bigger than 50 or something. Egos got in the way, and you know how that goes. And but yeah, the only business deal I've ever made with 50, Canelo knocked him out, and that was the end.
Not playing Best Ball DraftKings, you're missing out. Here's what you need to know. DraftKings Best Ball Millionaire Contest is the biggest fantasy contest ever. We're talking $15 million in guaranteed prize pool with that's right, 2 millionaires being crowned for first and second place. If you're a set it and forget it type, then Best Ball is for you. No waiver wires, no roster management, bigger rosters so injuries won't end your season. Only the draft, and that's it. You're set for the season. Still not convinced? Check this out. This year, DraftKings is offering everyone Draft One, Get One special. Your $20 entry fee scores a bonus ticket. Get in on the best ball action. Download DraftKings app. Use code Shannon. That's code Shannon. All customers who enter NFL Best Ball 15 Millionaire Contest to get a bonus ticket and get a shot at being crowned one of 2 millionaires. Only on DraftKings. What's the biggest mistake, be it in the boxing ring or in business, that Oscar De La Hoya has made?
Probably inside the ring. I stood in there too long. Yeah. And
That's that Mexican machismo.
yeah, it's got to be.
You got to go toe to toe.
Yeah, it's got to be. But also not going in prepared fully, 100% in some of my fights.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Overconfidence, too much too fast. See, I was this kid growing up with nothing. East LA, da-da-da. I didn't really have nobody gave me advice. I learned everything the hard way. I learned everything on my own. And there was a certain point of my career, probably in my prime, or a little after my prime, where I just thought that I didn't have to train hard or run that extra mile, or I just felt that I was invincible. And, I had some losses. I had some close fights that I should have won easy. Was starting to kind of, go downhill, personally and professionally. So, this sport does that to you, man. Any athlete will tell you that. If you don't stay focused, this thing can eat you up alive.
Do you believe now, sitting back, because you have the magnificent science of hindsight, that had you trained harder, some of those L's that you took, they would have been W's?
Oh yeah. I'm convinced 1,000%. I mean, look, I had a life outside the ring that was fast, crazy fast. Like I sometimes ask myself, how in the hell did I do it? How was I fighting, winning world titles, and then going off and drinking and this and that, and I would show up in camp literally boozed up. I would start camp 6 weeks and win a world title. Like, how in the hell did I do that?
Wow.
I don't know if it was an angel that was looking out for me, or it was just pure skill, or just being young and dumb.
Do you ever, when you're alone, you're in your bedroom, you're sitting down and you're walking, do you ever think, what if? Had I just worked out harder, instead of a 6 division, I could have been a 7-8 division. I could have had an unblemished record.
Yeah.
And when they talk about the 2 or 3 greatest fighters ever, Oscar De La Hoya's name, although you're an all-time great fighter, do you ever think about, had I just given it a little more, what could have been?
Yeah, but I don't dwell on it. I don't really focus on it. I'm satisfied with my accomplishments. But I'm more so satisfied with what I'm building outside the ring, life after boxing. I'm just satisfied. I'm at ease with myself. I'm happy. I'm just blessed. I try to live my life with the mentality of a Buddhist. Just treat everybody right.
Right.
Brush everything off. Everything will be okay. My partner gets annoyed with it, but but it's just the way I've lived life.
Right.
I've been through the chaos. I've been through hell and back 7 times. So I'm good.
Let's talk about a fighter. I think you still promote him, Ryan Garcia.
Yes.
Oscar, what's going on?
Look, first of all, every time I've spoken to Ryan, every time that I talk to him on the phone, in person, he's always nice.
Right.
He's always like talking to me. Yeah, we have big plans. I'm motivated. I want to make a lot of money. And Ryan's Ryan, right?
Right.
But every time we talk, everything's great. And then I pick up the phone, I see Twitter, I see Instagram.
IG, yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? What are you doing? a lot of money, good-looking kid, just like me. And I've given him advice. I've told him, hey, look out for this, look out for that. But Ryan's Ryan. I have no idea what he's thinking or what he's doing.
A wise man will learn from others' mistakes. A fool will learn from his own.
Yeah.
Now, considering your heritage, you fought, you're a promoter. If I'm going to take advice from anybody, I'm going to take it from you.
Absolutely.
You can tell me the pitfalls. You can tell me the blind spots that I have no idea exist.
Sure.
Because you've been there. You walked this path before.
Yep. You're absolutely correct.
It seems like you guys have a very contentious relationship, especially like you said, privately when you pick up the phone and call him. But then when I see you guys at press conference, I'm like, bro, I thought y'all was on the same team.
You know, boxing is like the wild, wild west, you know? There's people that want to steal your fighters.
Yes.
There's people, advisors, other managers, promoters. Everybody's always talking to the fighters.
So they're in his ear.
Always. Oh, Oscar's the bad guy. Oh, Oscar's going to steal from you. Oh, Oscar's not going to promote you right. Well, I have the experience. I mean, look at Canelo's career. Look at Floyd's 16 fights that I promoted. Look at all the big events I've put together. Of course, I've had the experience, but when these whispers are in their ears every single day, I mean, you're literally swimming up the current. It's impossible to convince these young kids, and they're kids.
Right.
You know, I don't blame them. I blame whoever is around them, the advisors, the lawyers who are money hungry, these guys who think they know it all. Well, the fighter's going to listen to them because they're with them every single day. So when they confront me, it's like, wait a second. I'm the good guy here. What are you talking about? I just want to make you a lot of money and make you a legend.
Right.
I'm a legend builder. I want to build legends, because if you build legends, then the money will come. It's not the other way around. Right. Oh, I want the money and then I'll be a legend. No.
It don't work like that.
Work hard to be a legend and the money will come.
His mental state, you know, he's been on IG and he's used the N-word. He's used anti-Muslim rhetoric. I think he was stripped. The one of the sanctioning bodies.
One of the 20, yeah.
So basically, we should look at the WBC, the WBA, the IBF. What's the other one?
Well,
ring.
The most important is the ring.
Okay, so that's 4. So we should only have 4 belts.
We should have 1. We should have 1. The one that has no politics involved. The one that fighters don't have to pay their hard-earned money to
be a part of.
Like, you literally have to pay a percentage or a big chunk of your purse to the sanctioning, because for a belt, I would rather just buy the belt at the flea market and for a couple $100.
Right.
But the ring belt is free. The ring belt, you have to be a legend. You have to be number 1 fighting against number 2. That's the only way you fight for it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at when he fought Tank.
Yeah.
And there was the rehydration clause. Do you feel that had he fought Tank, I think they weighed 140, and he couldn't rehydrate above a certain level.
Yeah.
Had he fought it, let's just say they fight at 147. Do you believe Ryan beats Tank?
I believe he fought, was it 135?
130. He fought at 135.
Fought him at 135. So let me tell you all the
give us
all the roadblocks and stipulations on the contracts and this, because I didn't negotiate that fight. Ryan's lawyer and advisors negotiated that rehydration clause and the purse split and this. I was just like, let me stand back. Let me watch them make mistakes. I felt so bad for Ryan because he was sucked up.
Yeah.
He was a dead man. He reminded me of me when I fought Pacquiao. Okay. And then when the next day you can weigh a certain amount.
Probably couldn't get over 140.
There's no chance he's gonna win against Tank, who's a beast. Mm-hmm. It's no chance.
If they fight again, and let's say they make the weight, let's just say the weight is 140. Do you believe Ryan is skilled enough? Because Tank did a great job of staying away from his power shot that left. and did a great job of walking him into his left, which is his sweet spot.
Sure.
Do you believe if they fought again, let's just say they fought at 140, Ryan could beat him?
Well, at 140, Ryan's a big kid now. And it would
ain't
be,
making 140,
he's not making 140.
So he got to be 147 or
It's got to be
154.
147, 145.
But
I'll tell you one thing.
guns up there, Oscar.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're talking about Crawford, you're talking about Virgil Ortiz, but you're talking about some big boys there. But I really think that, see, weight class, that's why we have weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't start with boxing, I don't know how many years ago, putting rehydration clauses on the great fighters.
Right.
We just didn't hear of that. Mm-hmm. That's why we have weight classes, and so that's exactly what happened with Ryan. Does he beat Tank if he doesn't have the rehydration clause? I don't know. I just do not know, because Tank, like I said, is very skillful. He's a beast. He knows how to figure you out. But one thing about Tank, which I love, and this is why he's going to be great, because he fights. Mm-hmm. And when you fight, you're going to get hit. And when you fight, you're going to get hit, and you might get knocked out. But that's the beauty about Tank.
That's why
he
they love
fights, and that's why they love him. That's a perfect example.
Right.
Tank Davis is a star.
When Ryan get his situation worked out, who would you like to see Ryan fight?
At 147, I wouldn't mind watching him against Teofimo Lopez. I wouldn't mind watching him against, wow, there's so many fighters. Boots Ennis.
You want to see him against Boots?
Why not? Let's make the great fights. Virgil Ortiz.
Wow.
That'll be great. There's a lot of fighters out there.
They are.
Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Man, you can make so many fights.
No, I don't think. Listen, it seems to me Crawford is hell bent on fighting Canelo, and he's willing to go up to 168 to do it. Because I don't believe Canelo can drop down to 160. He's been at that 168, 175. Right. He probably walks around. What does Canelo walk around at? 185, 190?
90, easy, 200, easy.
So
he's a thick kid.
Yeah. So to come all the way down to, he's not coming back down to 160.
He's not. That's a far-fetched type of fight to be made. I think realistically, Terrence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, those are our modern,
Hagler, Hearn,
yeah, exactly, of today's era.
But it seems to me that Crawford doesn't seem that they bring the bang for the buck. They don't bring the eyeballs. They don't bring the pay-per-view vibes. They don't bring the butts in the seat. He says, it seems to me that he's like, well, I'm an undisputed champ in the four belt era.
Yep.
I just got another belt.
Sure.
Seems to me he's thinking the only fight that makes sense is Canelo.
It's Canelo. I think he's wrong. I really do think he's wrong. Crawford is in a unique situation. He needs a B-side to create a mega fight. He's that type of fighter.
Right.
He's the best talent out there in the world today, I think, pound for pound. But he's kind of like in a teeter-totter where it's like, man, does he sell or doesn't he sell? It all depends on the opponent. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think Boots Ennis does what? I guess a good number is 1 million pay-per-view buys.
No.
Boots does that?
No, not with Terrence. I think the only fights out there that do over 1 million homes, because to hit 1 million homes, there's a
lot going on now.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on. People have short memories here, so they want to see the best fight the best.
Right.
I think the only fights are like Canelo, Terrence Crawford, anything with Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, Terrence Crawford. There's several out there, but you just need that perfect dance partner.
Right. Would you like to see a rematch with Tank and Ryan at 140? Let's just say 144,
I would love
145.
to see it at 147.
147?
Yeah.
That's
It's too much for,
That's a lot of weight for Tank,
It's
though.
too much for Tank, yeah. It's too much for Tank. But it still would be an incredible competitive fight because Tank, he has the dog in him.
Oh, yeah. He gonna fight
Oh,
now.
yeah.
There's one thing about Tank.
He won't go down easy.
He's slow 4 or 5 rounds,
Sure.
but once he
turns it up, oh, man, it's beautiful.
He relentless.
It's beautiful.
He's relentless. What's Floyd, I guess, Ryan Garcia and Floyd they've been talking, communicating. What's that relationship? What's that dynamic between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Ryan Garcia?
Well, yeah, I mean, now that Floyd was a little idle in the promotional business for a while. Now that he started again, he hired an individual that was actually my ex-CEO. Funny stories about that.
Schaefer?
Yes. So now that he started it up again, yeah, it's. Do I worry? No, because Floyd is probably talking to him as fighter to fighter.
Right.
You know, maybe he's slipping in some business. You know, hey, come sign with me or this and that. But look, I mean, Ryan knows exactly who helped him out. Ryan knows. Ryan's a loyal guy who can, in boxing, who he'll tell me if he wants to leave me or he wants to stay with me. And, you know, plus we have a contract, so.
Do you think Floyd would make a great trainer?
I think so. I think he'll make a great trainer like his father. His father had something very unique. He was a sergeant. I think Floyd has that same attribute where it's like he takes no shit from nobody, you know? Like he'll dump. I remember one time his father dumped a water bucket on me at 5 a.m. in the morning to wake up to go run. Nobody has ever done that. Not to the Golden Boy. Come on. And he did it, and I respected him from that day on.
Right, because you look at some of the trainers, Buddy McGirt, Floyd Sr.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the great trainers were fighters.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
But not like Floyd, historically great, because a lot of times when you look at Oscar and we say, the greater the player, the less the ability to coach.
Sure.
Because they're looking at it like, bro, why can't you do that?
Right.
I could do that in my sleep.
Right.
But that's what made you great.
Exactly.
So the thing that I have with Floyd, there's no question he knows the game.
Sure.
But would he rub off it like, damn, that would be so easy for me?
One thing about Floyd is that he's a hard worker, so he'll implement that to his arsenal, right?
Okay.
To his training arsenal. He'll make you work hard, just like his father.
Yes.
In boxing, we have a lot of great trainers, but we've only had a handful of great teachers.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference, you know. Emmanuel Stewart.
Yes.
Man, top 3 of my training. I had 7 trainers in my whole career. You have to take.
Why do you have so many? Why does boxers have so many trainers?
You keep learning. You keep growing. You outlast your trainer. They can't teach you anymore. Yeah. So those teachers are not around anymore. You know, like Eddie Futch.
Yeah.
Who trained Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, God bless them. But all these trainers want to be heroes now. You know, they want to get on camera. Hey, I'm here. Look at me. No, it's quite a unique gift that these guys had, that these teachers had, and that's why when he had like 3 of them in the sport of boxing.
The Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. You want to see a rematch of that? What transpired? Because he's been suspended. They say PEDs. They say there's trace amounts. So Oscar, what can you tell us about that situation?
When we landed fight week in New York, Monday, I believe it was, that Monday, the first call I received, hey, please help us. Ryan Garcia's drunk in his room and he's with women. I'm like, what? Is this what I have to deal with the whole week? Imagine if Ryan Garcia was 100%, what he would do to Devin Haney.
Right.
Do I want to see a rematch? No, it doesn't call for it. I think Ryan he just mopped. I mean, it was crazy. You know, it was what Ryan Garcia, he just made him look like an amateur. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't care if they say he was on steroids and this and that. He was 30% up in that ring. 30%. Imagine if he was 100%.
Will he ever take it serious enough to be that 100%?
I believe he will. I really, really do. I think, you know, in order to lift yourself back up, you have to touch the floor. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to slip and touch the floor. And I think if Ryan Garcia, and I know he has the strength to do it, I think he will come back better, stronger than ever.
Oscar, what's going on with you and Canelo? You promoted Canelo. Even when a lot of fighters left you, Canelo stayed.
Yeah.
What's the beef? What's the headbutting with you and Canelo?
I literally feel Canelo changed over time. When you start making money.
He had $300 million to do that.
Yeah,
Oscar.
he changed a bit, and yeah, it's just odd. He's saying all this nonsense about that I stole from him and ripped him off and this and that. First of all, I'm a legitimate company, okay, where we make a lot of money and everything is by the book. Come check my books. Come bring in your auditors. And he's done that over the years. I just feel that a lot of times fighters get jealous, And I'm not saying this to stroke my ego or anything, but I would walk into a room and Canelo's giving interviews. I would walk in and then everybody would put all their attention to me.
Right.
Oh, Oscar, the promoter, oh, this and that. I just feel that it maybe got to him a bit, Then he started saying that I was ripping him off and this and that. And it's pretty sad because I have nothing against him. I really don't, personally. I just feel that, that's, and the whispers in the ears.
Right. Another situation. You always start off with good friends. I mean, you and Canelo was good friends. Now you guys butting head.
Yeah.
Dana White, the UFC. What's going on with you and Dana? You guys were cool.
Yeah, we were.
Then what happened?
We were actually cool. When I first thought about getting into the MMA, I strongly feel that he just wanted to bury me, not have competition. He started talking shit about me. What does he talk about me? The coke and the pantyhose. Yeah. So what? 15 years ago, right. So what? And what, that I don't have friends? And it's absurd because literally I don't even think about it. We're in different sports.
Right.
He does his thing, I do my thing. Just because I wanted to start a little competition, he gets all, let me scream louder. I mean, when a guy slaps his wife in public, when his mom writes a book about him saying that he's a douche, his own mom, that's all I have to say. I don't have to say anything more, I don't know why it started. I mean, the promotional thing, but we were actually pretty cool. But anyway, it's all good.
You brought it up, Oscar. You had to be Oscar, why you let him snap that picture?
Which one?
The 15 years ago, the picture you was talking about.
Oh, I was drugged up. Yeah, I was drugged up. I didn't even know it. Yeah.
You didn't know you had put the pantyhose on?
No. Have you ever tried it?
No, hell no. If they gonna make me put pantyhose on, hell no. I ain't gonna try. I ain't gonna try it either.
Okay. Think about it. To get those pantyhose on?
Yeah.
God damn it. But it'll take like 2 hours.
But that's what
sober.
Oscar.
Yeah.
You had to go by the size when you was not sober.
No. What happened was, and I've talked about this a lot in my documentary too, because I'm open about it. I don't give a fuck. I was getting with bad people, this and that. 2 women come in my room with a suitcase. That's all I remember. And after that, I wake up the next day.
What was in the suitcase?
Well, women's clothes.
Oh.
Yeah, women's clothes, drugs, this, that. Yeah, they set me up. But it's okay, it happened, so what? Well,
you mentioned that during your career. Did you partake in drugs during your career?
No, I couldn't because...
they tested?
Yeah, they tested you. I didn't drink, smoke, drugs.
Women was your vice, though.
I was a professional.
When you boxed, women were your vice.
I mean, we're human, right? But I started drinking in the Pacquiao fight.
Okay.
I was drinking in the Pacquiao fight. The last 2 weeks, my training was going bad. I was getting beat up in sparring.
Damn.
And I said, you know what? Let me just booze it up. And that's what happened.
Did you try to suppress that from coming out? Because you knew that was going. Oscar, you know who you are. You're Oscar De La Hoya. You're the golden boy.
Yeah.
You're a gold medalist. You're a 6th division champ.
Sure.
Do you understand how that was going to make you look if those pictures ever came forward?
No. I actually, another story that people don't know, when they came out, yeah, I was fucking worried as hell because I was at the peak of my career.
Yes.
And I was having issues with, domestically at home,
with your wife.
Yeah, with all that stuff. And so they made me, first of all, we hired this forensic expert in photos and Photoshop. We actually convinced the people that they were fake.
Fake.
Yeah. And I was home free.
Right.
And then the person at the time that I was with convinced me to do an interview and tell the world, you know what, they're real. So
why the hell would you do that?
Because I was a shell of my own self at the time. I didn't know what I was thinking, but I'm glad I did it because I'm glad I said they were real because it set me free.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're out there 15 years ago. So what? I mean, what? I bet if I asked 30 people here, 20 of them say, yeah, I've worn something from a woman in closed doors.
Oh,
That's what happens. Mine just came out publicly.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Oscar.
Come on. Hey, come on, let me see.
I ain't even got on socks, so I know I ain't with no pantyhose. Let me ask you this. Give me your top 3 Mexican fighters of all time.
Of all time.
Ooh, they got some good ones. Julio Cesar Chavez, De La Hoya,
Salvador
Canelo.
Sanchez. Salvador Sanchez was a good one. He passed at an early age, but he beat Azuma Nelson in his prime. I think he died at 22, 23. Could have been
Roy Jones mentioned him when I spoke to him. He mentioned Salvador Sanchez.
There's a fighter that people won't know of. They call it El Puas. You have Julio Cesar Chavez. Canelo's going to be up there, top 10. So, yeah.
Ricardo Lopez.
Oh, Ricardo Lopez, who was undefeated as well. Yeah. I think he had one draw. He was 50-0 and one draw. But a lot of great Mexican fighters. But I have to respect Canelo with what he's accomplished, and I'll put him top 10.
Wow. Top 10? Yeah. I ain't asking for 3, so he ain't going to guess. I guess if he top 10, he ain't making your top 3. Do you remember the 92 Olympics? Because that was the first year they bought the NBA, the Dream Team.
Sure.
And they took everybody, the Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson, Oscar De La Hoya, Barcelona.
Yeah. Oh.
This was a lifetime, a culmination of a lifetime because you dreamt of being an Olympic gold medalist.
Sure. It's by far the best moment of my life, professionally, inside the ring. At the same time, I was cursed, at the same time. It was like the best moment and the worst moment of my life because my mother wasn't there. She had passed away from cancer the year prior. So you can imagine all the emotions. I was just a kid. So listening to the national anthem, right? USA's playing and man, I'm just full of emotions. I couldn't cry. I couldn't laugh. The best moment of my life. I go down, get out of the ring, and NBC Fred Rogan is gonna interview me, and he mentions my mom, and I just
lost it.
I couldn't do the end. I just cried and cried and cried. So it was a lot of pressure, but it was a surreal moment. It was the best moment that I've ever had.
Do you and I tell people this a lot of time, the heaviest weight you can carry is expectations. Yeah. And you know what the expectations were going into Barcelona. Not only because you're fighting for something more than a gold medal, your mom.
Yeah.
You know she's watching. Yeah. And the expectation from the Americans back home that you're Oscar De La Hoya gonna win the gold medal. I don't know how many others we're gonna win, but we're gonna win that one.
Sure. And it was all a lie. It was all a lie. Imagine that. The media made up the whole story that I was in my mom's deathbed and she whispered, win the gold medal for me.
Oh, they did that?
She didn't do that. It didn't happen. The media was just feeding it to me and I was hearing it and I believed it. And they would ask me, hey, Oscar, so you're doing it for your mom? Yeah, I'm doing it for my mom. For her cancer, I hope she beats it, this, that, and she, and I ran with it.
Right.
And the whole world ran with it. The pressure was just too much. There were times I fought, I believe it was South Africa. I beat him easy, but after that fight, I wanted to give up because the pressure was too much. I was like the darling in Barcelona. Oh, Oscar has the great story.
Because you were the golden boy then.
Right. No, actually, they named me the golden boy when I won the gold.
Right.
But the pressure early on was just, I would never wish any type of pressure like that for anybody.
You could feel it. You knew.
Oh, it was, I wanted to quit. In the Olympics, I wanted to quit in the Olympics. Yeah, it was too much.
Can I ask you this, Oscar? How did your upbringing, childhood, there's some situations that happened.
Yeah.
You mentioned, I think you talked about in your documentary that
Yeah.
you were raped at the age of 13 by a 35-year-old woman in Hawaii. How did your upbringing shape the Oscar De La Hoya that's sitting in front of me today?
Yeah, look, I got taken advantage of. You know, when you're 15 years old, and I mean, at 15, your hormones are like, hey, oh my God, they're like just jumping up and down. And older woman, you know, takes advantage of me. That's it. That was it, you know. Did it scar me? Did it change my mentality towards women, this and that? Like, it does something to you. But again, you're your own individual to figure it out. I grew up in tough streets. I grew up in a tough family. I grew up with a mom who used to beat me every freaking day.
Wow.
I had a father who just, my connection with him was boxing. You know, he was military. And, but it made me tough. It made me who I am. It made me, if it wasn't for my childhood, I would have quit in the Olympics.
Wow.
That's the toughness I needed to win the gold.
Did you realize not only did you have a country that were counting on you to bring that gold medal home, but your family, the people that you grew up with? You talked about your father and the connection that you had through boxing, and your mom who had passed away, because clearly she wanted to see you become something.
Absolutely. Of course. People want free money. People want to see the bank grow.
Right.
People want to see you successful because of things, you know.
You thought your mom and dad thought that you were the meal ticket, you were the lottery ticket that was gonna take them out of East LA?
I was the lottery ticket for everybody, and still am. I've been living this for 40 years. Shannon, you have no idea how many people I have around me that love me for me. I can count them in maybe 3 fingers. And I'm okay with that, because over the years, I had a million people around me that love me, that I felt love me. But why am I going to my house crying myself to sleep if I have 1,000 people around me who love me? Now, guess what? I have 3 people who love me. Maybe, I know 1 for sure. But I have people here that love me, and I'm going to bed smiling and laughing and happy. Why is that? With less people. It's just life. You will live and you will learn, the hard way or the easy way. I've learned both.
Was it hard for you to say no?
Yeah, it was. It was impossible, because I want you to like me. I want you to accept me, to love me, to hold me. If I say yes, everything will be okay. Now it's like, okay.
Because, Oscar, the thing is that your mom, your dad, family members, they're around you when you have nothing. So the instinct is, now that I have, well, I want to make sure the people that were around me when I didn't have, because I'm under the impression that they love me for me.
Sure.
But sometimes you have to tell the people that you love no also.
Yeah. Well, you have to remind them, and they can easily forget, you know, real fast. I have to say my immediate family, like, I mean, my brother's awesome. I love my brother. My sister, you know, it's awesome. You know, my father, it's like we had this relationship where, I don't know, did you do it for the money or because I still pay him? You know, and it has to be for life.
Right.
Because that's the promise I made.
Right.
So, you know, money does a lot of things to people, man. It's crazy. And I learned it over the years, and I have this experience, and I see these young kids now, man. It's just be careful. Have your guard up. Be smart.
Where are you on celebrity boxing? I don't know, this wasn't celebrity, but when Floyd fought Conor, and we see some of these, what is it, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
He's fighting.
Yeah.
And I read where you said, Jake, If you really want to be taken
Yeah.
serious as
Yeah.
a boxer, go fight somebody that is a boxer.
Yeah, and it's fair. Look, what I said to him is fair. I'm not criticizing. I'm actually commending him for getting in the ring.
Yes.
For taking it serious.
Yes.
For promoting
Yes.
and helping out Serrano, the woman fighter from Puerto Rico, I believe it is. And he's doing great things for fighters and for the sport. But if he's gonna take it serious the way he says he is, then take that route the way we took it,
Right.
the way the greats took it, the way fighters who have to work their way up from the start. Go fight guys who are gonna test you, guys who are not guys who are don't have experience or who are
play
MMA
football players
fighters.
that play basketball or what? Yeah.
It's not like being a fighter, a boxer. I strongly feel that Jake Paul has the ability. He really does, and the work ethic. Okay, but every fight that he chooses, it's not balanced. Either he's an MMA fighter, either he's a basketball player, either he's smaller, 30 pounds lighter than him. Okay, take the route professionally. Take the professional route. Take the route that Mike Tyson took. Take the route that Floyd Mayweather took, that I took. The route that's gonna test you, and it'll show you if you can become world champion.
You don't think Tyson is a serious opponent for him?
Come on. 61 years. I saw him the other day. I love Tyson. I told him,
He can punch.
of course, he's got a puncher's chance the first 3 rounds. I'm a little scared of Tyson getting hurt after the 3rd round.
Right.
Jake Paul's a big boy. He's 26 years old. Tyson's 61. I'm happy for Tyson that he's making money and that Tyson still loves it and he's getting in there. He's in shape.
Right.
But just be careful.
Jake Paul say he wants to fight Canelo. You make that happen? You make that fight happen?
I could make it happen, but Canelo hates the shit out of me.
It'd be a lot of money.
It'll be a lot of money, but still, it's not legacy. It's not legacy.
It's not?
No. Canelo, I don't think has anything to prove. I think Canelo, he's obviously now fighting for the money,
Right.
which I don't blame him for.
Right.
As long as he fights. But for instance, not taking Benavidez, which the world is urging him to, it's bad for his reputation. It's bad for Canelo's legacy for not taking that prime fighter in his career.
Well, I don't know how closely you follow this, but since you're a fighter, you know the fight game. Drake, Kendrick Lamar, who won that one?
Wow. Jeez. I don't know if both guys have they trained, have they fought, have they? Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna go with. I don't even know. I don't know.
Well, they had a disc going on.
Yeah. Who's bigger?
Shit, I think Drake is bigger.
I'm gonna give him the advantage.
You gonna give him the advantage? You mentioned something that you were training your AI abs. Were you serious? Or you bull jiving? Because I can't. Through social media, I can't tell when people are bull jiving or they being serious.
It is just. It's crazy how every little thing I do, people will just dissect it. Yeah. So look, this is what happened. Okay, and this is what people are gonna understand. They're not fake abs. Like you cannot get fake abs, but it's called etching.
Okay.
So where the plastic surgeon goes in, it's kind of like a liposuction.
Okay.
But he etches your abs.
Right.
My abs are already there. I have abs.
Right.
They're already there. They're just etching it in between so they can just pop out and stand out more. That's all it is. Now it's up to me to keep these abs because I gotta work out.
Right,
I gotta eat right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're mine. They're real.
That's a real thing?
It's a real thing, man.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it's a real. It's like liposuction.
Right.
But they just etch the abs. That's it. That's
and so they'll be. So as long as you eat right and work out, you will have like an 8-pack.
Oh, to have a 12-pack.
You gonna be 75 years old. Oscar, think about this. You've been training your whole life. You know how to get in shape.
I do.
Why you take the rich man way? We do the poor man go to the gym. That's the poor man. That's the poor man. A plastic surgery.
I don't know. I guess because I can. You know, I've done it all, man. I'm.
So let me ask you a question. I want to know. So how did you come about this? You sitting in your room one night like, shit, I work about 300-400 mil. I ain't got shit else to do. I'm gonna go get it, man. I mean, did you see a brochure? How did you even know about this? I ain't even never heard this.
I want to look good. I want to feel good. Okay. I have my girl, my partner, Holly.
Yeah, home team. We used to work together. We worked together for years. We worked together for years.
Who is probably the most beautiful, sexiest woman alive ever. And I got to keep up. I want to look good for her.
Right.
I want to stay active. I want to, you know. And I do have to admit, when I met her, it was like, I'm not going to train anymore. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be lazy and just kick back, enjoy all my money. But guess what, man? She motivates me every single day. Ever since I got with her, man, people are saying, wow, Oscar, you're a changed man. No, I'm not a changed man. She just took care of me and nurtured me and gave me attention, you know, and loves me. That's all I needed. I didn't need no rehab. I didn't need no this and that. And because all these people were coming after me, trying to get what I have and take me down. You know what I needed? I needed somebody to just care for me. And I'm good.
I got all the doctors too.
And the doctors, yeah. She has all the doctors.
So let me, throughout this interview, you've mentioned your partner 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I know you had a previous marriage and it didn't end well, but is marriage something Oscar De La Hoya would consider again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when you're in love and you have a partner who, I mean, my partner now is changed my life. She makes me feel like a man every single day. Just by something she tells me, something she does for me. I've had breakfast on my table every single day for 3 years.
What?
Holly? What?
Yeah, Holly.
I'm the man that I should be. I'm getting emotional now because I'm happy.
Kid?
I'm good.
Holly, you say?
Holly's good. Yeah.
You no.
I snipped it anyway, so I'm good.
Okay, you good. Can I ask you this? Obviously, you know, your situation with your ex and your kids. What's your relationship with your kids like today?
Good.
You good?
Great, yeah, good.
That's awesome.
I mean, not great, but good. You know, it's like I have older kids and they have their own life and they do whatever they're gonna do. I mean, look, this is the way a kid's life is, you know, they love you, they grow up, they hate you, you know, they leave the house, then they call you for money. It's just, it's life, you know? I'm here for them every single second of the day. I'm here for them. Call me. I love you, you know? We're family.
Right.
Till the end.
Oscar De La Hoya's legacy. What does Oscar De La Hoya, when it's all said and done, Oscar De La Hoya is no longer here. What would Oscar like for people to say about him?
That he finally found true happiness.
Wow.
That he finally found a partner, okay? But you know what my legacy is? My legacy is not my 6 world titles, gold medal, this and that. No, my legacy is to say, I stood with my partner, with a woman, till the day he died. Faithful, loving, understanding. Yeah, went through stuff, whatever, but you know what? At the end of the day, they were best friends. That's my legacy right there. That's what I haven't had, a partner.
You believe you found the woman that's loved you more than any other woman?
I know, and I believe it, and I know in my heart every single day I wake up, I'm blessed.
Wow. Oscar De La Hoya, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you.
My man.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why.